Hello, let me tell you a story about ancient civilization rivalry between Norse, Greeks, Egyptians, and Atlanteans. It was long ago, and it happened in a very distant place which was called Oasis. So the Norse and the Greeks came together. They were friends for a very long time. Their kings were friends for a very long time. They eat together and feast from generations. On the other side, there were the Atlanteans, who were extremely old civilization together with the Egyptians. They were threatened by these two new foes, and that's why they decided to make a pact. So, what is happening is on the top we have Gaia, on the bottom we have Ra, on the left, on the right bottom we have Loki, and on the top right we have Zeus. What the two great kings said, the Greek and the Norse, let's see what is on this map. And then they sent their scouts, as we can see left and right, to discover the map in front of them. And then they discovered that someone else was on this map. On the other side, let's see the other two civilizations, what they did. They also tried to discover the map. The pharaoh himself decided to go around to look at the lands around his kingdom and to see for himself what can be hunted, what can be gathered, and where is the gold mines. Because everyone knows that the Egyptians need a lot of gold. They need gold not only for their monuments, but also to please their pharaoh. That's why, as we can see, after 7 villagers for food and 1 villager who's making the statue, there is the other 8 villager, no, 9 villager who already is making the gold. On the top, what we can see with the Atlanteans, there is 1 villager who is already working for the gold, and then there is 1 for the food, 1 for the wood. I think there's too little. Ah, okay, there is 1 more for the food. So, basically, they're going around and they're gathering much faster. Very advanced civilization. They have these oracles, and the oracles see far and wide, can tell a lot of stories. On the right side, let's see how the Greeks and the Norse are doing. The Norse managed to find a lot of ships with the 2 oaf sharks that they had. They are bringing all of these ships to their town center. So basically their people can prosper. The people were great hunters, so basically they have all of the necessary updates. Nothing could stop them in this age. On the other side, the Greeks were doing similar thing, having many herds and prosper in their town center. Although they're also sending some hunters to hunt nearby giraffes. So, as we can see, they become more and more. Already 10 villagers for gathering hunt. All of the civilization wanted one thing, to go fast to the classical age, because in the classical age they could expand their influence, they could take other settlements, they could make armies that are actually powerful and go against their foes. The Oracle of Gaia maybe already saw No, he didn't saw anything yet, but he might see very soon the the Greek settlement, and then the Egyptian and the Atlanteans will know where the Greeks actually are. On the other side, we see already a temple built from the Greeks. Zeus was their main god, so they decided to go and build him a magnificent temple. On the bottom on the map, Loki already started to build his temple. Let's see the Egyptians. The Egyptian built temple of Ra, which is just now happening. And on the top was the temple of Gaia for the Atlanteans. Loki, with his mischief, granted the opportunity of a treason. So the Norse decided that they need a person who will tell them about the secrets. They choose this Atlantean villager to tell them what is going on. Meanwhile, one of the wolf sharks get deep to the territory of the enemy, of their foe, to explore what is there to be taken and how this can be done. Updates were already updated, and as we can see, the civilizations start to go to the classical age. So from the Greek side, what we have a Hermes. From the Atlantean side, we have Leto. From uh, from the North side, we have Hemidao. And from Egyptian side, we have Bast. This oracle managed to spot these villagers. So the Egyptians knew. And also this oracle managed to spawn the big settlement. So very well placed oracles in this game. As we can see, these three villagers are going straight for this settlement. So they will be taking it. The grand strategy of the Greeks at these times was to expand fast, expand wild, far and wide. Meanwhile, the centaur straight go to attack the town center, knowing because of the traitor in the ranks of the Atlanteans. That is happening, and what they didn't know was the Sphinx, the mighty mythological creature which is actually going for the villagers. So that was the counter-attack that was done. Meanwhile, the automating warrior tried to help here, but he couldn't do much. The Sphinx attacked mercilessly, and the first victim for the Norse fall, it was a villager. Then the Sphinx had decided to go down. On the top, what is happening? Apparently, the Greeks managed to block the town center, the second town center of the Atlanteans, which is not good. It wasn't good for them. And they had to decide what to do. The Atlanteans created automated warriors, and they sent them to attack. Jason is the hero for uh, the Greeks. The centaur fall, but if the automated warrior decided to stay and fight with the Jason, they didn't have a chance. He's too powerful. The Sphinx, meanwhile, he was ravaging the countryside. And one of the Atlantean villagers, go to the ambush of the Norse. The Norse decided to go deep in the territory and expand. They built their own houses and attack. The Zeus was tired already, so it uses his boat to strike the Sphinx down, and the Sphinx was no more. Meanwhile, the villagers from the Atlantean go back. On the top, what is happening? Automated warrior after automated warrior, they're falling prey to the Odysseus and Jason. And maybe the whole town center has to be abandoned in this case. The Norse decided to gather army already. And let's see the answer from the Egyptians. The Egyptians already start to gather the army, and the Pharaoh decide to tell his people, now it's time to attack. Now it's time to fight. Meanwhile, on the top, the automated warrior fought valiantly against the Odysseus, and in the end, they were actually pushed back the two heroes. Now it will be great uh, if the Atlanteans decided to rebuild their automated warriors. The fight started between the Norse and the Egyptians. A lot of the Pharaoh forces attack at once. They surprise the Norse. Even the Pharaoh himself decided to come and to attack. The mighty sphinxes were uh, were given from the gods for this valiant attack. Then the Norse army split, and they decided to go to separate way. One part decided to go to the Greeks, where they will be searching sanctuary, and the other one stay in their barracks. The Egyptians gather around the barracks and start their siege. The Norse some of them managed to reach the Greeks, tell them about the story, the scary story about their defeat. The Norse tried to build throwing axemans, which are very good against infantry, but they were unprepared for this massive Egyptian army. The Norse decided to rebuild on the top. Meanwhile, the last barrack from the bottom, it fall. Two Hersers pop out. They wanted to find the Sphinxes, but they didn't manage, and the infantry actually beat them. The Pharaoh decided to go back because he needed very much in his palace, and the priest left behind to take care of the wounded. Meanwhile, on the top, the Norse, together with the Greeks, start to build their army, muster their forces, and prepare for the grand siege of the Atlantean. The Atlantean, meanwhile, managed to build their second settlement, so Gaia managed. And the Gaia people actually weren't stupid. So they start to build left and right. The guy give them the wish, which is very hard for the other nations to build upon. In this, they are protecting their territories. From far away, the Atlanteans start to shoot arrows at the barracks of the Norse. The Norse didn't have a response. That's why they decided to build the towers. The Atlanteans had very good technologies, even in their young ages. Meanwhile, the two sphinxes are going around, but the 18-Jawer was waiting for them. Nevertheless, they pass around him, and they were searching for a prey. That was the order from the pharaoh to go and to raid, to go and to ravage the countryside of the foe. The two armies, they were waiting for each other. Who will make their first mistake? Greeks and the Norse together, or the Atlanteans? Atlanteans needed a help, and that's why they call upon the Egyptians. And the Egyptians said okay, and they decided to send a contingent with the infantry and the priest. Meanwhile, the sphinxes were ravaging the Greeks, how they were attacking mercilessly. And they were losing left and right villagers. The Greeks decided to go to the next age, which is their hero age. They get a mighty manticore to help them and a pole on their side. Having this, they decided to go out from their town and to build the town center. But the sphinxes were there. So a mighty fight between the manticore and the sphinxes start until the heroes come, Jason and Odysseus. Then one of the sphinxes tried to run away. The other sphinx left behind and tried to kill as much villagers as possible. The Hippicons came, and actually from every single side the sphinx was surrounded. He saw his demise. The two sides, the two big armies look at each other and start to build bigger and bigger defenses. It was a game of a nerve. It was a game of who will make their first move. Finally, the Greeks managed to build a town center, but the cost was high. Meanwhile, the Egyptians, they already had two town centers. The Atlanteans, they had two town centers. The Norse, they still had one town center though. They were very aggressive, but they didn't invest much in their economy, neither in their town centers for now. The Greeks, on the other side, they were very clever, economically knew what to do. They had at this point in time three town centers, beating all others. Decided to attack the towers and the settlement together with the Egyptians and the Atlantean army start to defend. The 18 Jarrow fall with the Hersers. Then they decided to pull back, and then it was time for the Egyptian and the Atlanteans to attack. Arrows flew left and right. The Atlanteans go with Tyr and had the mighty behemoth on their side. The behemoth was very, very big and very destructive for the buildings. After some fight, both of the armies pull back. They saw that it won't be an easy fight. They exchange some fire. Nothing is decided yet. More and more barracks were done, and more long houses. They were in need of bigger armies for both of the sides. The Egyptian, though, start to expand at the south at a very high speed, so high that actually the Norse and the Greeks were completely unaware. The Norse was built just a tiny little walls. The Greeks built their catapults and they start to make the siege on the palace. The Egyptian army though went down and start to prepare for a surprising push, a push which will come from nowhere. The enemy, they were caught by surprise. So, what the Norse will do? Will the Norse decide to go back or not? The Egyptians get their armor, put their shields, and get their big scarab with them, with the Sphinx. The big scarab was a very big monster that can destroy buildings on its path. They straight go for the town center of the Norse. The Norse still didn't know what to do. Then the mighty Apollo from the Greeks give him the underworld passage, and then the Norse managed to come back with his army. But was it too late? What was happening? Meanwhile, on the top, a big battle start between the Atlanteans who enter in the inside and start to fight. The attack was on two sides. Who will fall first and what it will be destroyed? The town center fall for the Norse player, as you can see. And although the Egyptian were destroyed here, a new force was start together. On the top, the Atlanteans together with the Egyptians start to attack the unsuspected Greeks. The behemoth also fall. The bottom, the Egyptian start to make a second attack with their big elephants, with the sphinxes and everything. And then the Norse decided to give up and to say enough. After the Norse fall, the only thing left for the Greeks is also to give their abdication. On the top, they valiantly fought, but on the bottom, the economy of the Norse really fall behind with the destruction of the town center. So that's how our story ends, with the mighty fights between them.